Good morning, Year 6. Here are the answers to yesterday's word problems. Questions 1 to 6 you should have all had a go at. Questions 7 and 8 on here were your additional activities. And then questions 9 and question 10 were the extra challenge questions. Well done for having a go if you did. Here are your Fluent in 5 questions for today. Please set yourself your 5-minute timer, and when you're ready, off you go. Okay, and here are your answers for today's Fluent in 5. Okay, just looking at question E, where you had 2/10 divided by 4. Okay, remembering if we're dividing a fraction by a whole number, what we needed to have done is times the denominator by that whole number, okay, which would give us 2/40, and then you can therefore then simplify the fraction to 1/20. But well done for those, remembering to keep hold of your Fluent in 5 scores to write onto your assessment sheet on Friday to hand in for your teacher. Okay, today we're going to be learning about prime numbers. So there's a bit of vocabulary recap that we need to do before we get on with today's tasks. Okay, so I'm going to start off just by reminding us what a factor is. So a factor is a number that divides from a given number without a remainder. So for example, factors of 12 include 6 and 2. Okay, because 12 divided by 2 equals 6, and 6 times 2 equals 12. Okay, so factors of 12 include 6 and 2. They're not the only factors, but those are just a few examples. A multiple is the product result of one number being multiplied by another number. So for example, multiples of 5 are 5, 10, 15, 20, etc. Okay, multiples of 8 are 8, 16, 24, and so on. Okay, and then today looking at a prime number, okay, remembering that a prime number is a number divisible by itself and 1. Okay, so we're going to be using these 3 terms throughout today's lesson. We're going to start off today by finding all of the prime numbers between 1 and 100. And I'm going to show you how to do that with a few simple steps. You will need a copy of a 100 grid. Okay, something that looks like this. There is a copy of this paper one on the learning presentation that if you're able to print off, you could have in front of you as a paper copy. If you're using a paper copy, you'll just then need something like a pen for you to shade in some of the squares. Or also on the learning presentation, I've put a link to this website where it gives us an interactive 100 grid. Okay, lots of the bits down the side we can kind of ignore, but you would just need a colour and then we can just click and it shades in the squares for us. Okay, so I can just reset that. I'm going to use the electronic version, but if you're using the paper one, obviously that's fine as well. So, first step, okay, for finding prime numbers between 1 and 100, okay, is to shade in number 1, okay, because 1 is not a prime number, okay, because it's only divisible by 1, okay. Prime number needs to be divisible by itself and 1, okay. The first prime number is 2, okay. So what I'd like you to do is shade in all of the multiples of 2 except 2, okay, because obviously 2 is a prime number. Okay, so pause the video and on your grid now shade in all of the multiples of 2. Off you go. Okay, so these are all of the multiples of 2 that you should have shaded in. So your 100 grid should look something similar to mine. Okay, the next prime number is 3. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is to colour in all of the multiples of 3, obviously not 3. Some of the multiples will already have been coloured in for you, okay, because they're also a multiple of 2. To check some of the larger factors of 3, okay, what you can do is, so say for example, if I took the number 87, okay, to check if it was a multiple of 3, what I can do is take those digits and add them together, okay. 8 add 7 equals 15. And then if that number, the answer, okay, is a multiple of 3, then that means that 87 is also a multiple of 3. Okay, so 15 is a multiple of 3, so that means that 87 also is. So I would shade that in. Okay, so as you get further on through the numbers, when you get to some of the larger numbers, you can try this trick to help you. Okay, so now pause the video and shade in all of the multiples of 3. Off you go. Okay, here are all of the multiples of 3 shaded in. So make sure you pause the video and just check that you've got the right ones shaded. Okay, the next step, okay, is to shade in all of the multiples of 5, because 5 is my next prime number. Okay, so once again, pause the video and now shade in all of the multiples of 5. Okay, I know that the multiples of 5 are going to be here because multiples of 5 are going to end in a 0 or a 5. Okay, obviously the tens column has already been shaded in because they are multiples of 2. So I know that 25, 35, 55, 65, 85 and 95 are multiples of 5. So the whole of that column there, barring 5, should now be shaded in. Okay. Having a look now, my next prime number is 7. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is pause the video again and colour in all of the multiples of 7, not 7. Okay, and once again, some of them would have already been coloured in. So, off you go. Okay, so looking through my multiples of 7, okay, so I'm looking for my 7 times table. A lot of them have already been shaded. Okay, the multiples that haven't been shaded, which hopefully you've identified as well, are 49, 77 and 91. Okay, so a lot of my grid is now filled. Okay, having a look now on my grid, okay, my next prime number is 11. Okay, however, all of the multiples of 11 would have already been shaded in. So there's no need to check for any multiples of 11 because the multiples of 2, 3, 5 and 7 have already been coloured in. So this shows me the remaining numbers, okay, and all of these remaining numbers are prime numbers. Okay, so as we've proven, there are 25 prime numbers between 1 and 100, okay, and they can be seen because they are not shaded in. Now that we've completed that together, I'd like you to go and have a look at today's tasks and complete those. They are all based around prime numbers and some of them require a little bit of investigating. So have a look carefully at those, and then if you come back tomorrow for the video, I will go through the answers. Good luck!